Hello, welcome back. In today's tutorial, we're going to be dealing with messy data, and I'll show you how to clean up your data set like a pro, meaning we're going to be removing empty rows, filling down missing values, and replacing blanks with zeros. Now, whether you're working in Excel, Python, and PowerBI, I've got you covered with this fast, flexible techniques that you could scale. So we're going to be doing those three different things to this data set that you see here. I'm going to first show you how to do it in Excel. Then we're going to jump over to Python, and then we're going to round it off by using PowerBI. If you stay to the end, I'll show you a bonus too. So let's first, how do we deal with empty rows? As you can see here, this data set does have some empty rows here between data. So how can we do this? So let's go over here to the right. Let's create a helper column, which is going to call flag. And then we're going to enter in an Excel formula, count blank, which counts the number of blank cells within the range. So let's go ahead and select our range. I'm only going to select one row here. Let's close it out and press enter. Now, as you can see, it brought back 0. The reason is because the range I selected, which is this entire row of data, not the entire row, but the entire range for our data set, is there are no blanks. Now, if I copy this all the way down to the end of our data set, scroll down right here. As you can see, when it brings back a number, that means it detected a blank, at least one blank in that range. Now, if we go up to the original, I left this relative. So when I copied it down, it changes it from row to row. As you can see in the formula, it only references the current row. So it brought back 1 because over here to the left, we have blank cells. Now, let's look at this one. It says 14. The reason why it brings back 14 because our highlighted range, C through P17, there are 14 columns. And it found that each cell within that range, there was a blank. So now how do we remove this particular row by using this technique? Let's do a Control-Shift-L to turn on the filters. And then let's filter the rows for 14. Okay, now what we could do is highlight these rows. And let's do a right click and delete row. Now it deleted those rows here. Let's clear out the filter. Okay, now as you can see, now we have no more blank rows in here. Now all we have to do is get rid of this count, right click on the count, delete. So that's technique number 1 in Excel. Now, how do we, as you can see, these cells in the department column are not filled in. Our job now is we want to be able to fill in the department all the way down. And when it gets to a new department name, we take that and fill that all the way down. So let's go ahead and select this department. Now press Control G, which is a go-to. Special. We're going to select blanks and then click OK. So what this did was I highlighted a specific range and I selected the blanks within that range. So that's what that particular technique did. Now what we want to do is we want to go up to the formula, press equal. We want to reference a cell directly above that blank. Okay, and now Control Enter. As you can see, it filled it down. So what Excel did was it took this formula, referenced the cell directly above it, it found signs. Once you hit Control Enter, it performs that same formula for all the empty cells. So when it got down to arts, again, it filled it in, filled this particular cell in with the value directly above it. So that's how that works. Now, how can we fill in these, what appears to be blanks in our actual numeric values within this data set? We're going to use the same technique. We're going to highlight this range. Okay, we want to open up the go-to dialog box, Control G, Alt S to select special. We want to select blanks again. So now it's selected all the blank cells, as you can see. The first cell in that range, go up to the formula bar, press 0, and then Control Enter. And now, as you can see, it filled in zeros for all the selected cells. So now we're going to go through the same process with the same data set, but we're going to be doing this in Python and Excel. So let's go over here. Let's first create a data frame, meaning that we want to select the range so we can put this data into a data frame. Press equal PY, tab into that. We're going to name the data frame DF equal, and we're going to select our range. Okay, now Control Enter to commit that change. Okay, now it created a data frame for us. As you can see, it put that data into a data frame. Now we're able to utilize this data frame in Python. So let's go over here towards the right. Let's spill the results of the data frame. We're going to do it over here. So equal PY. Tab into that DF. We're just going to reference that data frame. Control Enter. And then Control Shift Alt M as in Mary. It spells out this data frame. Okay, as you can see, now what it does for the blank cells, it returned a none. And for the numeric cells, it created this pound num value here. So what Excel does in Python, it when it sees kind of like what they think is a blank, it coerces pandas to return a none, the word none. And then when it sees a number, or what it thinks it might be a number, it returns a pound num. So what we want to do here is we want to be able to create these empty cells or empty rows in this data set. Now, I'm going to do it one way, and I explain to you why this may not work initially, but we're going to make a correction to it. So let's go up here, data frame, enter, and then we're going to do data frame, dot drop, and tab into it. Give me a second. We're going to use a parameter how equals all. And then comma in place equal to. I'll press Control Shift. Actually, let's do this. Control Shift. Okay, so now what you see is it brings back, uh, it did return did eliminate those rows. So that's a good thing. But as we go forward, we want to be able to correct these none values here and stuff like that. One way to do that is we're going to do fill NA right prior to this, and you'll see in a second what this does. Okay, we're going to do a data frame. It's going to equal to data frame.fill NA. And we're just going to do a control enter. Okay, so now what you see here, again, by doing that, it did bring back um, the empty rows. So the reason why this now brought back the empty rows is because the order of operations. First, fill NA is going to find all the NaN values that it saw, which were considered to be in Excel, it says found num or the word none, and it fills it with blank. Drop NA, what that does, it only removes the values that are not a number or NaN values. Since this replaced the NaN values, it got to this and said, okay, there are no more NaN values, and that's why it brought that back. So so to correct this, let's comment this out. Do a pound. Now control enter. It brought back those like nuns and stuff like that. But we can correct this going forward. So let's first address these non-values here. We want to fill these values down like we did in Excel. We want to fill the departments down. In order to do this, let's go ahead, enter our next code. We're going to overwrite the department code. So we do data frame, okay? And then in square brackets, we're going to access the department, close it out, and equal to data frame. We're going to also access the department. And then dot F forward fill. What that F fill means, it says forward fill. So we're going to access the department. And where it finds the NaN values, it's going to forward fill them. So let's control enter. Give it a second. And it brought back error. I might have had a typo. Give me a second. And I just misspelled the my count. So let's go back here. Type that in. Department. Let's do a control enter. And I corrected that error. So now you see all the departments now have been filled down. So we can see that. Now let's address these num errors. Let's replace that with a 0, like we did it in Excel. So let's go down to our next code. Let's go over here. And then we want to select the range where we want to look for these NaN values, okay? So in order to do that, we're going to create a separate range, basically. Call it date cows is going to equal to the data frame and columns. We're going to access all the columns. That's what this does. And we're going to access it from the point of starting right here, July of 2024. We don't want to do anything with these first two columns. So this is why we're doing it. Select starting at 2, meaning it's zero-based index. So 0 is this one, and then 2. So we're going to start at 2, and then bring back the rest of the columns to the end of the data frame. So that's what this does. Okay? Let's press enter. Now we want to enter in the data frame, date, it's going to equal to the data frame, date, fill in A with 0. So that's what that does. So control enter. And as you can see, it filled everything now with zeros. So now we've got a data frame that looks exactly like our Excel data. Just like that. So now that's how you do it in Python. Now let's see how we could do the same thing, but only in PowerBI. So let's go back over here. Let's go back to the original data. Let's go back up here. We want to be able to select the range, go up to data, then we want to go up to from table range. Okay, now we want to be able to select our range. Okay, let's go back here. Our table does have headers, which is what we need. Press OK. Now we're in PowerBI editor. Okay, the first thing that we want to do is we want to get rid of the blank rows. So an easy way to do this is we go up to the Home tab. Okay, and then go over here. It says remove rows. And it says remove blank rows. So as you can see, now the blank rows are now gone. So that was easy. Now our next step is we want to be able to, again, fill these departments. So we can select the select the department count. We want to go up to transfer. And then over here to the right, fill. Okay. We want to fill down. So as you can see, now the department is all the values filled down. Now our last step is here, is where we want null values here to be all zeros. So in order to do that, we must select the columns that we're going to basically transform. We click the first column. Let's go over to the right. And we control click or shift click the last column. So it selects every column in between. We do the same thing, transform, but instead of fill, we replace values. Now, instead of leaving this blank, we want to type in the word null so it sees that, because that's what we see over here is null. And we want to replace it with 0. Click OK. And now you see the null values in these numeric columns are now on a 0. As you can see that. Now what you could do is go back to the Home tab, close and load to, and you just want to create another table in this case, in a new worksheet, click OK. So now we have the same end result as we did in Excel and Python, where we remove the blank rows, we fill down the department, and we also create entered zeros for all those null values. Now let's go back to the Excel data right here. And as I said at the beginning, we wanted to give you a bonus tip. That bonus tip is basically we want to highlight the values that are 0 in here. How do we do that? Again, we're going to, in this particular case in Excel, we're going to highlight our range. And we're going to press Control G, special, and then we're going to, actually, we don't want to do a Control G, I apologize for that. So let's go back there. We still select the entire range and then do a Control F, which is find and replace. So what do we want to find? We want to look for zeros. We want to match the entire cell contents. Okay. And then we want to find all within this range. Okay. What it did was it find every single one of them down here, but we want to select all this. So Control A. Okay. Now, at this point, it found everything, and it also highlighted everything. So let's close out of here so it keeps the highlighting of all the zeros within that range. Now, what we want to do is just a simple thing. We want to fill in the background color of these cells. And we go up to the Home tab and do a fill color. Select any color that you want. Okay. Now, that's how you could highlight what's important to you in this data set. So again, I want to thank you for stopping by today. Hopefully this gave you an idea of how you can clean up your data sets, not only in Excel, but in Python, and also using PowerBI. 3 separate ways that you could do it, doing the exact same thing. Thanks for stopping by. You have a great day, and check you next video. And this data set will be included in the description down below.